On Tech News Today, it's gadgets galore at CES, plus Google launches a Sonos killer. It's all coming up next on Tech News Today.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today from Monday, January 5th, 2015. This episode is brought to you by NatureBox. NatureBox ships great-tasting snacks right to your door. Start snacking smarter with wholesome, delicious treats like blueberry Greek yogurt pretzels. To get your complimentary NatureBox sampler, visit naturebox.com/twit. That's naturebox.com/twit. Tech News Today is the show where we talk about the tech news with the journalists who report it. Welcome to the show. I'm Mike Elgan, and Happy New Year to you, Jason Cleanthes. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, Mike. How you doing?
Good. Before the show, you told me you actually voluntarily once went to, at least once, to CES. What are you, nuts? Why'd you go to CES voluntarily?
Because of all the great gadgets, gear, the cool stuff, and who doesn't love being put up in bed for a week and a half afterwards, sick with who knows what kind of bug?
Good point. Good. That's an excellent point. Yeah, I've been to CES twice or three times. I went to Comdex long ago, maybe 7 or 8 times, and I'll tell you, I've had enough. I mean, if Leo wants me to go, I'll go, but man, that is a brutal, just getting from one place to another is brutal. Well, let's launch into the news. The International CES event officially launched in Las Vegas today, at least for the media. The show opens to the public tomorrow. CES this year is expected to bring in more than 160,000 visitors, over 3,500 companies, and more than 6,000 journalists. And speaking of journalists, joining us live now from the event is our own Father Robert Ballecer. Hey, Padre, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
So glad you're on, and I'm so glad that you go to the show so I don't have to, and I appreciate that. Let's start with the big picture. What are the big trends you're seeing this year? Are they the same trends that we kind of expected?
Well, yes and no on the newsy side. So yesterday, the press was treated at the Nvidia event to the release of a new chip, the Tegra X1. Now, Nvidia is really making a push into the mobile space, which we know is a trend, but their new chip has 256 GPU cores on top of 8 CPU cores. So they're really trying to make that push into the high power, low power consumption arena. And we, I think that was pretty much the best news that we heard from the newsy side. Now, on the gadget side, on Sundays, there's an event called CES Unveiled, and I believe that Jason has a quick view of what this room looks like. Imagine a room about the size of the Twit brick house filled with nothing but media personnel and some of the booths, a preview of what's going to be happening on the show floor. Now, pack all these people together, give them some really bad food and some really cheap booze, and you get an idea of what the press gets treated to. Now, the #1 trend, other than mobile, Mike, has to be wearables. And we called this, everyone has a wearable. It doesn't matter what kind of company you are, you're going to have a wearable. In fact, there was one wearable that was a snowboard. Imagine this. All wearables are about gathering points of information. There's a company called Xon, X-O-N, that has embedded sensors into a snowboard so that you can register your run down the slopes and replay it later on. And that way you can figure out whether or not you did anything wrong, what your weight distribution was like, whether or not you need to change your style, go goofy foot, whatever it's going to be. This is just a sample of what we've seen. There are wearables for babies. There are wearables for old people. There are wearables that'll track your activity, your food, your whatever. So, yeah, I think that's definitely going to continue, especially with the release of the Apple Watch.
That's all I need is a snowboard that tell me that I just face planted into the ice. Thanks a lot for that. Now, how about the Internet of Things? I've got the feeling that there are going to be a gazillion, approximately, Internet of Things devices of all kinds and maybe some surprising ones. What are you seeing in that department?
Yes, everyone is bringing out their Internet of Things, no matter what it is. And that just means that it's connected. Now, one trend that goes along with the Internet of Things is this idea of home automation. There are a lot of vendors out there, some very established, who are pushing everything from Nest, which is now owned by Google, to Belkin. Belkin made a big splash last year with their low-cost, high-connectivity Wemo modules. They're releasing a new module this year called the Echo, which will allow you to track your water and your power usage, which, is actually kind of a nerdy dream. There was one company that caught my eye last night at CES Unveiled. It was a company called OneLink. And Jason, I think we have some B-roll for this. Now, it looks like any other home automation system. This does fire protection, humidity, temperature, so on and so forth. It's got a little thermostat. And of course, they've got a wearable. But the thing that caught me was they claim these modules right here. These are their Wi-Fi thermostat, humidity, temperature probes, can run wirelessly for 10 years with nothing but battery power. Now, I haven't figured out how they're going to do that. We're going to stop by their booth later on and figure out if they've put a nuclear reactor. But 10 years running a Wi-Fi chipset, it doesn't seem possible. But if they did it, how much would you pay to stop that annoying beep you get whenever your fire detector goes low?
However much a shotgun shell costs, I don't know, whatever that is. And now I've seen a lot of this. You know, one of the big problems with these kinds of Internet of Things devices is the power. You know, you don't want to run a cable across the rug or whatever to plug it into the wall. And I've seen a camera also coming out that plugs into a light socket, which looks pretty cool. That's not going to ship till later this year. So I'm looking forward to that sort of thing. Innovative ways to deal with power, as this apparently does. Now, one of your favorite topics, I know, Padre, is the drone world. You seeing anything in the world of drones, or are they not letting drone people into the tightly packed events yet?
They're letting them in. They're just not letting them fly.
Good advice.
But a lot of these companies have figured out a way around that. Of course, the #1 quadcopter / drone manufacturer for consumers is going to be DJI. They were the ones who really brought it to the masses, and they were at CES Unveiled showing off something that the press has heard about, but they really wanted to take a look at. This is the DJI Inspire. It has that variable geometry. As you can see, the landing skids and the props go up and down, which allows the camera underneath to be thrown around in 360 without getting any part of the quadcopter into the shot. Now, this thing is beautiful. It's gorgeous. And the pictures that come from it are ultra silky smooth. Another thing that I should probably mention is that they've taken the 4K camera off the bottom of this drone and they've put it into a handheld. So you can now have a gyro-stabilized handheld unit. So I guess DJI is trying to branch out. Now, there are other manufacturers here who will be trotting out their drones over the next week, but DJI definitely has a head start. I mean, they've got everything from the low-end model all the way up to their octocopter that carries professional cameras for movie making.
Yeah, I want that drone so bad I can barely stand myself. It is like so cool. And then with that handheld unit, I mean, we've got to get our hands on one of those at least to test it. And what have you not seen yet that you've heard about but you're looking forward to seeing later this week? For example, I've heard that Nest is coming out with a smart ceiling fan or something like that. Are there any products that you're hearing rumors about that you're really excited to see?
Yeah, there are a lot of products in home automation. Nest is one of them, but there have been sensors for doorways. There have been sensors to tie everything together in the garage. What I do want to see, though, is, and I believe there's a sponsor of Twit, so I have to put that disclaimer. SmartThings is a company that I think is going to be key to home automation / Internet of Things in 2015, because there are all these products from Lowe's and from OneLink and from Nest and from Belkin that do home automation, but they don't talk to one another. So if you get a product like SmartThings and their hub that can actually let you buy the sensors you want from each company and then tie them together, that's what I want. I would love to see a common operating system, or at least a common language, so that you can buy sensors and doodads and little automation gadgets for your house and not worry about them being from the same manufacturer.
I love that idea, and I really think Samsung is going to really dominate in the Internet of Things. They're uniquely positioned to do so, and it's theirs to lose as far as I'm concerned. They're just the right kind of company. They make smart appliances. They make the refrigerators and the washers and dryers, as well as all kinds of other devices, mobile devices, and so on. So I think that they really are in a great position to do exactly what you're saying, tie it all together. All right, well, Father Robert Ballecer is a host on This Week in Enterprise Tech, Know-How Coding 101 and Padres Corner. Thank you so much for sacrificing yourself and going to CES and giving us this great report. We're going to be hearing from you in multiple shows all week. So good luck to you, and we'll see you again soon.
And I'll bring you back some CES flu.
Thank you, and also a drone, if you don't mind.
I will.
All right. You can subscribe to all Padres shows at twit.tv, and you can follow him on Twitter at PadreSJ. Well, in just a sec, we're going to hear more stuff from CES, but first I want to tell you about NatureBox. NatureBox is the healthy snack that you can get by subscription. What a great idea. Here's a perfect example of what you can get. This is the dark cocoa almonds. Chocolate and almonds. Boy, so good. Right now, NatureBox is giving you a chance to get a free trial box of their most popular snacks, and you just pay $2 for shipping. And here's why you're going to want to do that. Candy bars and potato chips and all the other kinds of stuff that we snack on all the time are bad for you, but sometimes we get hungry and we want to snack. We're going to snack, and we're pretty much going to snack on the best thing and the easiest thing we can get our hands on. So if you subscribe to NatureBox, healthy snacks are the best thing and the easiest thing that is available to you, and that's what you'll snack on, and you'll get healthier. They have hundreds, literally hundreds of delicious snacks, and again, you can constantly, the way they do their subscription is you tell them which ones you like, tell them which ones you don't like as much, and then they'll keep sending you ones you like and send you new ones to try, and over time, you'll discover all kinds of really amazing snacks like orange apple fruit chews or Parmesan garlic pops or jalapeno cashews. So many creative flavors, and they've got 0 artificial flavors, no artificial colors, no artificial sweeteners, 0 grams of trans fat, no high fructose corn syrup, and you'll even find snacks with no added sugar and without gluten, gluten-free snacks, that's right. So NatureBox is really what we all need to get healthier and still enjoy really delicious snacks. Start your free trial today. Get a complimentary sampler box at naturebox.com/twit. Stay full, stay strong, start snacking smarter. Go to naturebox.com/twit, and we thank NatureBox for their support of Tech News Today. Garmin introduced 2 new fitness watches at CES today. Their ruggedized $499 Fenix 3 is a training watch for snowboarding, hiking, climbing, skiing, and other activities. The watch has a built-in compass and barometer. The GPS can be used for planning hikes or leaving breadcrumbs for making it back out of the woods alive. Garmin claims 50 hours of battery life, and while the Fenix 3 is for serious athletes, Garmin's other watch is for more casual use. The $249 Vivo Active is for both fitness and also for use as an all-purpose smartwatch. Christina Bonnington is a staff writer for Wired and joins us by telephone from CES. Welcome to you, Christina.
Hey there.
Now, what are the main differences between these 2 Garmin watches?
So the main thing here is the Vivo Active is more of what you think of as a traditional smartwatch. Something like the Pebble or something comparable to Samsung smartwatch offerings. It's pretty slim in design with kind of a squarish touchscreen face. And it is GPS enabled, so you can track different activities like running, cycling, swimming, or golf. But it doesn't provide the fine-tuned tracking and really advanced features that you'd find on some of Garmin's other watches like the Forerunner 920 XT or the Fenix 3.
Now, you wrote that both watches offer apps. What kind of apps, and who's creating these apps for the Garmin devices?
Right. So Garmin has a third-party app platform called Connect IQ, and I believe it's launching in March. And it'll feature some apps from third-party developers like Tempo, which is a smart calendar company, and then there will also be apps for just getting greater utility out of the fitness functions of the watch, apps that let you track your muscle functions more closely, for example.
Now, which smartphone platforms can these watches get notifications from? Because, of course, even though they're fitness-oriented watches, they can be worn every day as regular smartwatches, and they get notifications and other features. Do they support, I assume they support iOS, Android, any others?
Yeah, so they connect over Bluetooth LE. They definitely connect over iOS and Android. So any modern iOS or Android phone should work fine with these watches. And I would imagine they may also work with Windows phones if it's Bluetooth LE enabled, but I'm not sure about that.
Now, you're a bike enthusiast, is that right? And a fitness person. Are you tempted by these devices?
Yeah, so I am. I do use fitness watches to track, all of my cycling statistics, like my distance, my heart rate, my power. For me, I have kind of 2 areas of interest there. So I want the really detailed stats when I'm actually out there working out. And then, during the day, it's also nice to kind of track my steps and my heart rate, making sure I'm not, stressing myself out too much and keeping my heart rate up. Or, if on a day that I'm not working out, I may want to up my step count so that I can, have an extra ice cream after dinner or something. So there's kind of 2 markets going on there. And so Garmin is interesting because they have a wide range of products that appeal to both of those markets and everything in between. They've got their Vivo Smart and Vivo Fit for the people that just want really basic fitness tracking during the day. They've got this Vivo Active now that kind of crosses the line there. And so you've got your general tracking during the day, and you've got some better fitness tracking for when you do go work out. And then you've got more advanced things like the Phoenix 3 or the Forerunner line that, offers, a more rugged and sporty design and GPS features and just more advanced fitness tracking.
Now, you mentioned that the Phoenix 3 comes with a Sapphire model. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so the Sapphire model is more expensive, and it is $600, and the display, the glass on top of the display is made of sapphire, which is scratch resistant, which is really great if you take a tumble onto the concrete. It's not going to get all scratched up. And then the rim around it is also stainless steel. It has a really nice high-end watch look, but it also has these features that make it appropriate for taking on a hike out in the woods.
Awesome. Well, Christina Bonnington is at Wired.com. She's actually at CNET, but you can read her stuff at Wired.com, and you can follow her on Twitter at RedGirlSays. Thank you so much for joining us, Christina Bonnington.
Thanks.
Nvidia announced its new Tegra X1 chip, as Padre mentioned at the top of this show. They announced it last night at a CES event, plus 2 specialized car computers powered by the chip. Noel Randewich is a tech reporter for Reuters and joins us now to talk about the story. Welcome to you, Noel.
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. Now, the Tegra X1 brings teraflop performance to cars for the first time ever. Why do cars need that much compute power?
So cars are one of the big themes this year at CES. Over the years, they've already, grown to include more chips, more sensors, and even kilometers of copper wire to connect all of them. But companies like Nvidia and all of its competitors are really envisioning a world where our cars become even more intelligent than our smartphones and laptop computers have become over the years. So Nvidia is playing into that idea pretty strongly right now. They kicked off their traditional press conference at the start of CES last night with CEO Jensen Huang in his trademark leather jacket, giving some pretty interesting demos of dashboard technology and driver assistance technology powered by NVIDIA's new chip, with the help of some pretty next generation software for autonomous vehicles.
Now, tell us about the car computers that NVIDIA announced. One is called the Drive CX and the other one's called the Drive PX. What's the difference between these two?
So one of them is really aimed at more of the interior of the car, if you will, of allowing the cars of tomorrow to have perhaps not just 1 or 2 computerized displays, but multiple. Okay, so Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, is imagining a situation where cars have multiple displays throughout the car, on the dashboard, the entertainment system, the navigation system, even heads-up displays on the windows, mirrors that have their own displays, and then displays in the back seat as well for the kids to use while the parents are driving. Now, of course, all this plays into the world that NVIDIA would like to see happen, because NVIDIA's legacy is developing and selling graphics chips for high-end computers. So in their perfect world, cars would have as many screens as possible with as high-resolution graphics as possible, because that's what they do well. The second supercomputer that they launched last night is more for advanced driver assistance, where cars of tomorrow that have up to say 12 or even more high-end or high-resolution cameras all around the exterior of them, collecting information as the car drives around, watching the blind spot, watching the lane next to you, the lanes in front of you, and so on. This new computer, using a couple of these of NVIDIA's newest chips, will be able to process information from up to 12 or more of them all at the same time, and that's a pretty big deal, because you're talking about not just when I say process information, I don't just mean record it. I mean process it, analyze it, detect other cars, read road signs, speed limits. They gave a demonstration of one of the chip being able to, or the chip of the software that it uses, being able to discern between a police car and a police car that's trying to pull you over. Obviously, that's a pretty big deal if you're driving an autonomous car. You need to know the difference between a police car that's driving near you and one that's actually trying to get you to pull over.
Now, obviously, I can't run out to Best Buy tomorrow and buy one of these things and shove it into the dashboard of my car. This is stuff for car manufacturers, and they need to program apps and do all kinds of stuff. By when do you think we're going to see this technology in actual cars that are for sale?
That's a good question. Part of the challenge with applying some of the know-how that's been learned in high-end computing and PCs and in laptops and smartphones and tablets and applying them to the automobile industry is that everything just takes a lot longer in the automobile industry. When we buy a smartphone, we expect to use it for a couple of years, maybe more, and then move on to another one. Same with a computer or a laptop. But with a car, you might potentially keep your car for 10 years and it needs to work perfectly. So there is kind of different standards that are assumed when you're developing technology that's used in cars. That being said, some of this stuff is already starting to appear, not to the kind of grade, the next generation demos that we saw last night, but bit by bit, this technology is already working its way into cars. Nvidia has multiple partnerships with Audi, BMW, and Tesla, for example, and they're looking at ways to include more of this technology in future automobiles. But of course, this stuff is going to appear, first of all, in high-end cars. This isn't going to appear in, your run-of-the-mill family car anytime soon, I don't think.
Well, I'm going to have to get rich then. I definitely want it. Now, I have to ask you very quickly, I noticed on your Twitter page you have a profile picture, not your profile picture, but the sort of the banner picture on your Twitter page that looks like a tortilla with worms on it. Can you explain this?
That's from, it is a tortilla with worms. I've spent a lot of time in Mexico, and it's a delicacy. For some
Is it
people.
really? That's an actual dish?
It's an actual dish. Those are the worms that we were eating that mezcal-fueled afternoon.
Note to self, don't order lunch in Mexico. All right, Noel Randewich is at Reuters.com, and you can follow him on Twitter at Randewich. Thank you so much for joining us today, Noel.
Thanks, Mike.
Google today announced a new Chromecast-like product, but for audio rather than video. It's for music rather than TV shows and movies. It's called Google Cast for Audio, and it lets you control and stream music playing on your iOS or Android phone or tablet or any computer running the Chrome browser to internet-connected speakers. It works like Google's Chromecast in the sense that you don't stream from your device. The speakers get the music directly from the internet over your home Wi-Fi network. Google Cast for Audio supports YouTube, Google Play, Audio, Netflix, Songza, Hulu, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and others, but not Spotify. Google is partnering with speaker makers Sony, LG, and Denon. Of course, they'll no doubt partner with others very soon. Well, some updates for you. Intel now owns a 30% stake in the smart glasses maker Vuzix. The investment is worth nearly $25 million. Vuzix makes Google Glass-like devices, but the company specializes in smart glasses targeted at verticals and enterprises. The company's M100 product tops a lineup of 7 smart glass devices, and I think this is a really smart move because I think that I don't see Google Glass or any smart glass-like product taking the consumer electronics world by storm, but I do see them becoming very useful in vertical applications, and that's what Vuzix specializes in. The site Torrent Freak reports that Google received requests in 2014 to remove an incredible 345 million links said to connect users with copyrighted content. That would be a 75% increase from the year before. The leading requester of links removals is the UK music industry group BPI, which reportedly submitted 60 million links to be removed. Google honors most of the requests, according to Torrent Freak. In other news, Parrot unveiled 2 new potted plant smart devices today, the Parrot Pot and the H2O. Both products are being shown at CES, and both keep track of moisture, temperature, and fertilizer in the soil of potted plants, and also the amount of sunlight they get. The gadgets alert you to conditions and automatically water the plants from a water bottle. Both are slated for shipment later this year, and because they're goofy, I think these are going to get way more coverage than they really should get, but still, kind of an interesting idea. The smart devices actually have databases of plants, so they know how much water they should get, how much sun they should get, what kind of soil they should have, and they will help you keep your plants alive, which is very nice. A French company called Emiota unveiled a smart belt today. In addition to holding up your pants, the Belty tracks many of the same things that other fitness wearables and quantified self apps track, the movement and so on. But the belt can also track information those other products can't, namely your expanding or shrinking waistline. The Beltie also uses motors to automatically tighten and loosen the belt depending on whether you're standing up or sitting down or whether it's Thanksgiving or not. The company is showing a prototype at CES but says they'll ship by the end of the year. I have doubts. Well, our TNT fan of the day is Mr. Library 03. I don't think that's his real name. He's in Tempe, Arizona, and posted this picture on Twitter. He watched the show live here in the Brick House on December 30th, our last show of the year. And, of course, if you're ever in the greater Petaluma area, we invite you to come in and watch the show or watch any of our shows anytime. Just walk in the door and go to the front desk, tell them you want to watch the show, and you'll be escorted over and you can watch the show live. It's a lot of fun. We love to have a studio audience as often as we can. How do you watch or listen to TNT? Just record a video or take a picture of your setup and post it on Google+, Twitter, or Facebook, and use the hashtag HowIWatchTNT, and we'll find it. And that is the Tech News Today. You can subscribe to Tech News Today by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Just search YouTube for Tech News Today, then click on the subscribe button. Choose your favorite way to subscribe at twit.tv/TNT or follow us on Twitter. Tech News Today TV is our Twitter name. And please send us your thoughts and opinions to TNT@twit.tv or call 260-TNT-SHOW. And don't miss our evening newscast, Tech News Tonight, at 4 p.m. Pacific tonight and every weeknight right here on the Twit Network. My name is Mike Elgan. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.